My name's Nicholas. I do streams and stuff. Hi guys. So the gimmick today is I wanted to talk about the Trump T word, and every time I say the T word, I would take a shot. But he's retracted some of the T's, and so my thought is, okay, well I kind of don't want to make this the main topic because I feel like what's there to say? He retracted it, but I think we can still research it. But I kind of want to just talk as a whole of what's going on politically. So if I say the T word, I take a shot. That's kind of the gimmick, and that's what I want to do every Friday. I'm going to do a political stream, and I have this sort of gimmick: take a shot every time Trump falls, and it looks like a diaper baby. I don't know, right? So yeah, that's where we're at. That's what I'm gonna do. So the drink today, same thing, because just I have so much grenadine left. I'm gonna do another Shirley. So surprise, surprise for anybody who knows me. I don't drink, but if you give me a Shirley Temple, oh, it's over. So I'm doing a Olipop ginger ale. Okay. And then I just bought the cheapest vodka. This one's called Caliber Vodka. And so yeah, every time I say the T word, I gotta drink. And then I also have these little shooters that you get at gas stations. Oh my god, I think I just poured like too much. Too much. Okay. I should have recorded that because I poured like half the bottle. Okay. So um yeah. Once I'm done making my little drink a Rooney. Then we'll talk about the politics. Oh, I didn't grab the cherries. I'm so stupid. Okay, well, this is where we're at. Oh, let me just So this has vodka in it. If you don't believe me, the vodka was filled. Now it's up to here. So let's die. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. All right, let's get it. Sorry, I have dogs. Oh yeah, we back. We back. All right, so let's just get it. So I'm gonna drink every time I say the T word. We're gonna research the T's, and it's gonna slip out eventually. So let's get it. Sorry, my dogs. They're being stupid. So let me do all this. All right, so. Welcome to the stream, fellers and fellies. Oh god, I'm nervous. So yeah, just to regurgitate what I just said, we're gonna talk about the T's. Screw it. We're gonna talk about the tariffs. That'll be the first drink of the night. This is vodka. Woo. Oh, that's awful. I don't like vodka. It's terrible. So yeah, we're gonna talk about this the T's. So for those who don't know, Trump enacted multiple T's, and I'm gonna say T's just because I know eventually I'm gonna slip up and then I'm gonna be drunk by the half of this. He's enacted multiple, and they're against Mexico, Canada, and China. Amongst these, some of them got pulled back. I think some are going through, and that's why I want to research this because I have no clue as where we stand now. I think last week was the big revelation that it's not going through, except for the China ones. But even then, there's only like 25% going on to like a one specific thing. So that's what we're doing today. So the first article I see here is how Trump's tariffs. Drink if you're with me. Oh, that's tough. That's tough right there. How Trump's tariffs could impact you and your wallet. God, vodka's awful. It's a vodka Shirley Temple. I think that's how people dirty Shirley. So every day, many people in the U.S. eat fruit grown in Mexico, use phones made in China, and live in homes built from the lumber from Canada. Now trade with those three countries could be interrupted. President Trump has imposed a 10% tariff on China. I don't drink, by the way. Like this is the most I've ever drinking in like a whole year, and you know what I mean. Like I don't like drinking, and I do like Shirley's. So that's what's like keeping me straight, because I couldn't just do a straight vodka. That would murder me. Um. Okay. President Trump has imposed a 10% on China, leading the country to retaliate with on its own. Although Trump has agreed to put a hold on Mexico and Canada for 30 days, he still imposed them. He could still impose them after that. The tax on goods imported from abroad, despite the claims that the teas will be paid by other countries, America will be stuck with higher prices. Analysis by the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation found that if the teas Trump threatened to recent days are imposed, it would amount in an average tax increase of more than $800 per household. So let's click on this. Oh, I've seen this. I saw the Tax Foundation do this. I think I've even read Eric York before. So this is a nonpartisan research center. They're just a bunch of economic people who break down what the what the T's could affect. Um, we modeled 25% on all imports in Mexico. I want to see their because their Excel sheets are pretty cool. So you can see here scenario 1, if there's a 20% universal T and 60% China, you can see that there's a decrease in GDP, decrease in capital stock, pre-tax wages will be unaffected, and there's a full-time equivalent employment will decrease by 1.1 million. Scenario 2, if Canada 25% and then China 10%, lesser scale, but still these are negative numbers. You're losing money, and it's going to have to be made up somewhere. If the permanently imposed, we estimate zero would increase federal tax revenues by 3.8 trillion, because again, you can't just disappear with these funds. They have to come from somewhere, right? So when you look at like a good example is we had the estate tax bill that was enacted by Trump, where you had all this money taken, basically the regulations that it came, if you had an estate property, you would have like sort of be taxed for, like, if I die tomorrow, my rich kids will have all this property. When that tax came into place, you saw an increase in medium income households, because the programs that we use, the taxes that need to come from somewhere had to come from somewhere, and that estate tax bill greatly increased wealth, not by a lot, for rich people's place, but enough for it to be, well, we have a difference in tax policy. The median household has to take it up and eat it somewhere. Someone has to eat something. There's no way we live in a world where you enact this tax cut and then nothing happens. You enact a tax cut, and then where else do you now have to take the money from, right? And usually the median household, the average income, they don't have much of a say. Obviously Trump is a billionaire and his cronies are all billionaires, so they're not going to take from their pockets. They usually take from us, and that's where we stand with this. So ideally, with federal tax revenues by 3.0, would increase. If permanently imposed, we estimate a scenario 2 on 25%. Canada plus 10% on China would increase tax revenues by 1.8. Doing this for retaliation. We also estimate. Oh yeah, so the idea is there's going to be retaliatory efforts by Canada, Mexico, and China, and if those do occur, you see a world where prices for goods and services will go up. That's just typical. Tariffs aren't innately, they're not inherently a bad thing. They're used as a negotiating platform. You saw in the case of, I think it was Colombia, where I just said it. There it goes. Drinks up, boys. The Colombian president, I think it was Colombia or El Salvador, but they said, we don't want these people being sent here, because Trump was sending migrants to these countries. I don't think they were even from there. I think they were just sending them just to send them, but I could be wrong. And you saw the president back down because the T's were pretty detrimental to that country. So they bowed down. They said, whatever you want, because it's a negotiating platform. It's something that you would use to scare, instill, or incentivize a country to do something for you, or to stop doing something. In the case of China, there's apparently this trade war where they're taking away more than they're giving in. They're cutting us deals where they're selling us steel, but they're selling their buds over there 2 cents a steel. They're selling us 10 cents a steel. So that's, obviously I'm grossly underestimating the prices, but we've always been kind of bent over by China because they're so massive and they work so innately with us, and we kind of lean on them post NATO. But even then, is it worth it? That's the conversation. Are these worth it? Are these teas worth it? So the imports to China total Tariffs struck the baseline of de minimis imports from China. We assumed the most of de minimis imports would face the existing Section 301. Oh, there seems to be a current T. Oh, you know what there was? Yeah, there was a T placed, I think, back in 2018. Biden never revoked it, so those were still and have been live. So the current T with both these higher T's, I guess. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's sweet. Shouts to my chatters out there. You guys are blessed. Um okay, so I love you. Oh, hi. I love you. I don't want to like name you on the stream and have my crazed fans attack you, my ten shooters attack you, but thanks Amelia. Um okay, so going through the T. The federal tax revenue by 53 million from 25 through 2034, failing to 50. Okay, so it looks like, ideally speaking, the T's in each scenario taken by, again, this nonpartisan economic foundation. It looks like you're gonna see this conventional in billions. So 318, 331, 346. You have an increase of revenue effects proposed by the proposed T's. So they're going to continuously increase, and I imagine the prices for this is what the burden, the revenue effects of presidents proposed. The confusion I have though is okay. This is what I wanted to see. The Trump's proposed China, Mexico, Canada T would reduce after tax income by 0.8% on average. Reduce after tax incomes. Okay. So I want to see what our gross domestic product would be. These are some tax increases. The Revenue Act of 42, 41, 51, and 50. Oh, those were like post-Great Depression, huh? Current Tax Payment Act, Revenue Act, Crude Oil Act. Tax bills are fully, partially used to fund war efforts in World War II. Oh, I see. So these were in response to the war we were in. That's funny. So wait. A lot of these, like, I'm gonna say it just because I feel like people are coming in. The tariff. Drink up, everybody, if you got your drinks at home. Oh god, vodka's terrible. Why do people drink vodka? That's awful. So most of these have been in place because of X, Y, and Z war. We're not at war with China. We're not at war with Canada. We're not at war with Mexico. So to do these, it seems odd. It seems really odd. Two of these people are our allies, Canada and Mexico. You can argue that maybe Mexico needs to step up X, Y, and Z. Canada, they're giving their buddies more deals than they're giving us. You could argue that, but I think if you want to like sever a relationship, this is the best way to do it. You saw in the act of doing so, many people from Canada, politician-wise, were angry. I think it looked like a bitch slap to them. And with Mexico, they have continuously said that they are not going to bend their knee to the tariffs. Now, fast forward, Canada and Mexico did bend the knee to Trump with his list of demands. Canada needs to stop the fentanyl crisis. Mexico needs to start helping us with the border crisis. Both things were currently happening. Mexico already sent 10,000, I think 15,000 troops to the border, not continuously, but they've had them since Biden was in office, helping patrol and help mitigating people who were claiming to either seek asylum or trying to seek asylum, but they weren't there to just hang out in Mexico. They were there to eventually cross. The military stepped in. Canada doing the same. They have a fentanyl SAR. They've put in $1.5 billion into their fentanyl crisis to stop the overflow from the Canadian border. And when Trump told everyone they kissed my ass, they followed through with this, and he retracted the tariffs. When he retracted them, Canada and Mexico said, yeah, but we're already doing that. And nobody cared because what he said made more people happy. Oh, see, look how cool these things are. I told you these teas were going to be good. So, okay, so we estimate the average God damn it. Drinks up, boys. Oh god, that's terrible. I know I shouldn't be saying that every time I slip it. Maybe more grenadine? I'm gonna do more grenadine. Less vodka. Hopefully that'll help. Maybe more ginger ale. How do people drink every week? I feel like you gotta have like fat wallets and take a shot. Okay. I'm gonna take a shot. You guys twisted my arm. I'm just gonna do straight vodka because my little shooters are. I have these little shooters, these little gas station shooters that I left them in the other room, but I'm gonna grab them. But just to please the family, the Nicholas fam, we're all gonna take a shot because I said the T word. Oh my god, that's awful. Oh my god. Everybody put your glasses in the sky. I'm doing pretty good, Miggy Bling. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Okay. Oh, that was awful. Oh my god, do people drink this shit straight? No one drinks this straight, right? Like nobody just does vodka, right? Like am I crazy? Extra smooth premium vodka made from the finest grade. This is the worst thing I've ever drunk. This is shitty. And then I have my beautiful Dirty Shirley here. Miggy Bling anytime. I'm partying every day. That's all I'm gonna know. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Let's get through this. So, the teas would average rate on all imports to highs not seen since in '69. Don't pull up right now because I'm gonna get drunk, and then I'm not gonna focus because we're just gonna be playing games, and I gotta focus on the stream. I'm gonna pull up right now. Economic efforts on the imposed teas. Okay, so there's gonna be a trade. There was. So yeah, in 2018, 2019, there was the current teas that we see today, that never were taken out of place. I think it was because, I think when Trump enacted the 2018, 2019 teas, they were purely on the steel. Yeah, steel and aluminum. Miggy Bling knows how to party. It's my boy. It's my boy over there. But so this is frustrating. I think with Trump is that we've already saw the effects of the teas that when in 2018, 2019, when he tried to, and he successfully enacted this war with China on their steel and aluminum, you didn't see an increase. I think it was actually like this is saying there was a negative of like 0.2%. There was a net neutral, I think, overall. Like nothing was really gained from these. We've kept them on since. It just sucks, you know, like I don't think it was a net positive by any means. At the very least it was a net neutral, and it's like, why did we do all this then? We had to bail out some consumers. Like I think farmers needed some subsidies because of these teas. So why it seems like we're doing a spending in deficit rather than any sort of like net gain. And yeah, so let's see. Collecting under Biden and Trump. So collecting under Trump, collecting under Biden. I think this is a fair thing to say with Biden is he did look kind of weak when he didn't revoke any sort of tariff. Tariff, yeah. Yeah. God damn it! I'm not even gonna get. I'm not even get through the stream. I'm on my first article, and I'm gonna just keep saying the T word. Biden looked very weak when we had Trump's teas enacted, and he did nothing. He just let them stay. And I know it looks weak, surface level, and I know the detail of it is that when Biden came into office, you know it looks even weaker if you tell your enemies, hey, here's this like sanction, this tax. Let me just take it back because the guy before me, he's out. Like it does look weak. There's a whole deal that has to come through. It's not an overnight fix. But it did look weak that we just kept the aluminum and steel tax and we did nothing about it. But it looks like more trade war tariffs have been collected. So they're saying that more trade war have been collected under Biden than Trump. Before accounting for behavioral effects, the 79 billion tax amount to an average annual tax increase on the U.S. households of 625. Revenue collecting. 360 no scope Trump. Yeah, let's put a dove in the chat. Let's. Someone in the chat said, "I'll 360 no scope him." Look, man, that FBI can be at your door, not mine. Okay, so ultimately, I think there's a rise in price and a reduction in economic growth is like the best way to summarize this. I don't think there's any sort of good incentive that came with the 2018 sanctions and taxes, and I don't see a world where the Mexico Canada gets in place and we as Americans will suffer. I'm kind of wanting him to do it just so I can show people that like, hey, this guy is not this economic genius. I am not either, but I'm a guy who loves to read these numbers and talk about these. And it seems like overall the study that was done here shows that in using the information from 2018, from 2019, and the rest of the effects of the taxes were a net loss for American people. Small loan of $1 million head ass. Okay. So I was reading too that there was a bit. So China will add 172 to a tax burden for per U.S. household. There's no exception for Apple this time. Unlike in Trump's first term, iPhones, iPads, tablets, laptops, all of them from Apple would now be hit, which is kind of a big escalation compared to how consumer goods were shielded for most of the first trade war. Vice President, Federal Tax Policy at the Tax Foundation. Does it mean that 800 iPhones will now cost $880 or 10% more? Not necessarily. For one thing, importers pay a tax based on the cost price of the item, not the full retail price. Apple might try to ramp up its production in other countries like India. See, this is where it's like, this is not necessarily like an overnight we're gonna see the burden of these taxes, but it does seem very like, again, not worth it. Like, what is he asking for from China? Is it because their steel production is whack? Is it because they're trying to take over Niger? Like, he's not being really explicit. Every time I've seen him talk about the taxes, the T's, he's never said like, oh, explicitly this is why, because Saudi Arabia and China had a deal and this is why I'm doing this to kind of punish them. I have not seen him, the very least, when I watch his interviews and someone pushes him on these topics, he is cognitively just not there. He's an old guy he's an old Fox News grandpa who probably heard the word T, probably started falling in love with presidents who were known for it. There was a president who was known for the T's. Oh my god, which president? Okay, I'm gonna say it here because I have to. But which president did tariffs? There was a president known for tariff. Yeah, put your drinks up to the sky. Oh my god, there was a president who, like, they called, was it Taft? It was not Taft. Did most. You know, while we're looking up stuff, you know what? We're gonna take a quick breather. Let's do a throwback. Where's my audio? Can you guys hear this? I think you guys can hear this. I'm just blasting. I don't know if my headphones are... Can you guys hear this? Oh, okay. My headphones are unplugged in. Did I say the T word? Damn it. Miggy Bling. You gotta call me out every time I don't take a shot. Okay. Thank you. I think there was a president well known for... Wow, it's really Donald Trump. He had the most terror. I almost said it. There was a president I know back in like the 1800s who was known for dropping them. Oh man. Okay, you know what? Every time I get called out, we gotta pull up the vodka guy, straight vodka. If you're watching at home, you gotta take a shot with me. Oh god. Oh my god, that's awful. Let's give a quick shout out to alcoholism. Oh yeah, that's what we need. What was I talking about? Okay, so ultimately, I think the teas, they are. Oh, also, quick in the chat. Take a shot if you like the B word. I don't like the B word, but I love women. You know what I'm saying? Also, I don't want to get bad, so I'm not gonna curse. Okay. Oh yeah, I've been cursing. What am I doing? Okay. Ultimately, I think Trump is this Fox News grandpa. This seems to be a net negative. I know the T's are used as a sort of negotiating platform, but I don't understand what he's even negotiating for. So far, what we've read, it seems to be a net negative, right? But what I want to see is where we stand. Okay, so automakers say Trump will cause U.S. car prices to rise. The average 25% car, Mexico and Canada. See, I'm going to do something kind of crazy, fellers. I'm going to do something crazy. So, a lot of these topics, I'm pretty harsh on Trump. This is where I want to agree with the guy. Because I think a lot of where the Republican Party is and a lot of the conservative ideology fails at this front. I agree with Trump. If prices for the car industry will skyrocket because of these T's, that is a weird state to be in this world. And this is where I believe some of impartially Trump is right. I'll take a shot to that, right? Let's all take a shot to that crazy statement. The idea is if Mexico is working on all these cars, if you have all of these Mexican and Canadian, imports, and we really suffer without them, I don't like the thought of that fully. Like, I think it's okay to be this sort of globalist mindset. Like, we should work together. We have these Canadian neighbors. We have these Mexican neighbors. Why not work with them? Why not make deals? It'd be ridiculous. It's a net positive on how much we really gain from it. We paid $2 for jeans that would cost $50 elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like, obviously not that same price, but that's the mindset is when you have this sort of like global synergy, right? But we don't need to rely on countries. I understand the sentiment of like, if one tax disrupts our relationship with Mexico, it seems pretty ridiculous that prices would skyrocket that high, right? The approach, his rhetoric, his demeanor is what puts us here, is where I don't agree with him. I think he gets there halfway. I think, oh yeah, we should really talk about like how much we don't have a reliance on our country. If you got a 6'4", because you say, hey, what the fuck are you talking about? The mindset is, it's when I hear that we don't make microchips in the U.S., that is scary because we rely on Taiwan so much. So what happens? Did you say nip slip? How do streamers do this? I see one chat and I'm like, I'm fixated and I don't remember what I'm talking about. Also check out Miggy Bling. The guy posts the best COD clips you'll ever see in your life. So when I hear that like we don't have a dependency on ourselves when it comes to like microchips, it pisses me off. The idea that Taiwan can be gone tomorrow, which I don't want, and I think China should never do that, and we should have some sort of retaliatory efforts or disincentivize something to happen for them to do that, right? But if it were the case, we should have these contingencies, and I think the move that Biden did with the Infrastructure Act, the CHIPS Act, these were things that made in America is what these guys really fight for, but I never see a policy like that. If you want to do a T, fine, but then you don't have a backup policy. It's reminiscent when I hear people say like we shouldn't have abortion, and then they go into and say like, okay, when a child is born, well, should we have universal health care? Should we have universal free lunches? All these things that like post birth these kids should have free because we should incentivize people to have children even if you can't afford it, and they say no. And it's like, well, we can't just burn down the building without a backup, right? You don't just destroy the system you have because you hate it without some sort of like backup plan. You don't cut Medicaid today and then expect nothing to happen. You say, we cut Medicaid, but we're going to give you taxes back because we're going to not tax on tips. I don't know. Something like that. In the case of the T's, when you see that cars being imported seem to make a jump of $6,000, that is pretty bad a failure on our part to be so dependent on it. Why are we not working on cars in the U.S.? The only issue is, the only thing that I would say, if you were not a dumbass like Trump, is let's pull it back. We shouldn't be so dependent on Mexico, but it's nice, and we should reap the benefits of having a Canadian and Mexican neighbor. But why are we not investing in subsidizing a Ford, a Chevy, these companies that are made in America, incentivize at least the assembly in America? And I think subsidies should go that way, that route of like, we should incentivize companies to be here. But also, if Kia just makes some good stuff, that's just capitalism. So there's some nuance here. There's a middle line that you have to walk. And I might just be drunk, but this motherfucker is not thinking this 3D chess. He's saying, I don't like Mexico. Let's do something. That's where I think the conversation starts and stops with this guy. What did I eat today? A rice bowl, sushi, vodka with the Shirley Temple, Rice Krispies. Yeah. Oh, and peanut butter with an apple. I'm trying to cut weight. I'm going to be competing soon. Jiu-jitsu. So yeah, so just reading this overall, it pisses me off to be in this spot. The T's are really pissing me off. That like this is even beginning with, but I want to see a world where like, okay, I'm trying to understand the Republican mindset, the Trump mindset, where and why these exist. It's not just because Trump is dumb and stupid is why he's enacting these things, but I think the end goal is what makes him dumb and stupid. I think it's okay to have this as a negotiating platform. I think it's okay to be mad at our you try to cook and talk about this. Are you saying I should do cooking stuff? Because I can try. I just don't know how to do. I'm so new to this stream stuff. Like, I wanted to even have a bar. Like, every time I said the T word, you can see, like, the number change. I still need to, like, invest on, like, how to do this Twitch stuff. But I wouldn't mind cooking. I have cameras, too, that I have, like, these portable cameras that apparently stream. So I could try that. Ain't gonna be a bad idea. But, yeah, overall... Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm losing weight. I'm trying to get to 155 for jiu-jitsu. Okay, so Trump is willing to use the T's to broadly and sparingly, and he's already imposed a 10% additional tax on China and Mr. Trump did not target. He said the tariffs in Japan were an option if the U.S. trade deficit with the country didn't fall to zero. But he claimed that... See, like, stuff like this is like, why are you gonna... On Japan? Why would we put a T on Japan? That just doesn't make sense to me. Japan is super ally. Japan has given us so much in terms of our capitalistic products. Like, we've really incentivized this country to be a great trading partner and a great military partner. When you look at someone like a South Korea, literally that's the only person I can think of in that area that lets us live there with our bases. Japan is close. You have Okinawa, where military personnel, and even Japan itself, where you have the military, because Japan doesn't have a military. So I'll hit a blinker right now. You get a G'd out. Get that pen out. But I don't understand why Japan is even on this list. The debt we have with them is very minimal, and it's usually made up because of our trade. Like the mindset here is what's pissing me off. I don't understand why we're doing this. Why are we going to war with this ally? Earlier this week indicated a European Union is on his sights. That the T's are pretty soon to come to. That just, I don't get it. Europe, as well as running for a trade surplus with the United States, Mr. Trump floated a proposal in both first term in 2024, making trade reciprocal by matching the rates and other countries imposed on American products. So see, this is why I'm really glad I'm reading this. I don't know much about what and how many we do have against us. How many T's are against the United States? I don't know. I have no clue. So this is why I want to read this, because if this is a retaliatory effort, you look at this and go, that makes sense. Why Trump is doing this makes sense. Like, they're doing it to us, why not do it to them? But is really an eye for an eye the route you want to take? Is it going to be worth it? Are these T's that effective to us? Are they really destroying American consumerism? I don't know. When I looked at the report done by the Tax Foundation, they said that it would be a net negative. Like, we would be suffering. The taxpayer for the median average household would have to make up for those missed revenue. Oh, did I say the T? God damn it. Spring break. Woo! While we're at it, another vodka straight from the vodka. Oh, God. That was awful. Do you ever drink one of those Gatorade tips? The ones that pop out and it feels like a gator's tit? Just a food for thought. Oh, you know what? Ugh. Um, while I'm consuming this beverage, 5 bars, 5 seconds.
You remember last time?
I don't know if you can see this. Shorts look weird on the stream.
5 bars. 5 bars, 5 seconds.
I don't know if you can see this. Can you see? Can you guys see this guy's nipples?
Yo. Cinnamon, cinnamon, all feminine, feminine, all venom, hot venom, cinnamon, all cinnamon, sauce, cinnamon, enema, give him an enema, short enema, melanin, no melanin, all melanin, all men are friends.
Okay. Yes, COD Zombies later tonight. Join with me and Miggy Bling on his channel. We're all going to play COD Zombies. We're going to do the Easter egg on the new map. You know, I'll take a shot to that, Miggy Bling. Miggy Bling actually, he taught Ninja how to play Fortnite. I don't know if you guys knew that. This guy's a legend. Shouts to Miggy Bling. Okay, where are we at? What time is it? Oh my god, it's only 7:35. Wow. I thought I'd been here for like 5 hours just drinking. How do people do this at a club? Like, imagine like you're drinking, you have this like terrible headache, you're a little bit horny. Like that's not the ideal time for me. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'd rather be horny with a headache in my own household. And I'm in my own household right now. But imagine club music and no, too much. Too much. Okay, so yeah, we come to the conclusion the U.S. car market could increase. There's a net negative for taxes and the T's as a whole. It seems like the tariff, what's going to be affected in this is not just gas. Oh, that's fun. It's not just going to be gas. It's not just going to be food. It's going to be all these plethora of things. It's going to be both food. It's going to be both cars. It's going to be this. So the T's seem like a net negative. Why are we doing this? What is the route here? Trump says he'll announce reciprocal T's many countries next week. Trump says auto tariffs remain on the table. Higher tariff. God damn it. Oh god. It's actually not that bad. The Dirty Shirley's actually becoming like a lot better for me, truthfully. What was I saying? Oh my god. I hate you. Reuters is one of my favorite they're one of my favorite news organizations. They're definitely not perfect. Nobody is. But what pisses me off is you really can't read anything from anybody nowadays without having to worry about paying these stupid fees. So this is a good trick here, is try to save as PDF and it'll let you read. President Donald Trump announced that he was planning... Wait, is this the article? Oh, you son of a bitch. Touche, Reuters, touche. But it looks like, so on the table, it's Trump still wants to have the EU have some sort of T and basically have retaliatory T's. So what I want to see as a certain some... Okay, let's see. What are the T's against the U.S.? I want to see, prior to Trump, how many T's were against us. Like, because that's the rhetoric he's always said, is like, they're doing it to us, we're doing it back. It's only fair, right? But I don't... Country returned. Okay, this would be nice. Oh, Al Jazeera. Okay. Before Trump, the long history of the tea wars with Canada and the world, from chicken war to the 1960s to a banana brawl in the 1990s. Here's the history of the teas. So after a dramatic day of the telephone diplomacy, United States President Donald... I can say Trump. Trump isn't the word. It's the other T word. It's the tariffs I don't want to say. That's not bad, guys. If you have grenadine and those cherries that they put in Shirley Temples, and you got a soda, like a lime soda or a ginger ale, And the vodka, make yourself a drink. Oh, you know what I mean? What was I saying? Damn, man, drinking is crazy. You really be forgetting stuff. I was thinking about work and school. Not even thinking about it anymore. I'm actually really happy right now. I see why people do this. I don't think there's any cons to drinking. It just makes you so happy. We should all just drink, guys. Like, let's all just get together. Let's freaking go to let's go to the tunnels under Tucson High. Let's just all drink. You know what I mean? Hit me up. The threat of an all-out multi-front tea war still looms. Before the Trump pulled back from now, has threats to Mexico, Canada, and both warned they will launch retaliatory teas. The U.S. Washington goes head-to-head. I want to see who did it to us. So 1930, the Smoot-Hawley teas. The stock market crashed Wall Street, sending shockwaves to the U.S. This was known as the Great Depression. Months later, in June 1930, President Herbert Hoover signed the Smoot-Hawley Act into law. The law was originally aimed at imposing teas to protect the U.S. farmers from foreign competition, but it was extended to a wider array of products and increased the teas on agriculture and industrial goods by 20%. The law was named after top supporters, Republican Senator Reed Smoot of Utah, Republican Willis. Real quick, I want to see what Reed Smoot be looking like. There's no way that's a real human. There's no fucking way. Yeah, no, his name is Reed Smoot. That motherfucker's name is Reed Smoot. If you told me that was Reed Smoot, I'd be like, yeah. If you're Mexican, you'll take a sip of the red drink. Okay, you got me there. Who said peer pressure isn't fun? Willis Hawley. That's my boy right there, Reed Smoot. I'm calling ice cream. What? The slowdown of trade weakened the U.S. economy by 1933. U.S. exports dropped by 61%. Smoot-Hawley is often cited by experts as a factor which aggravated the U.S. economic crisis. So it seemed like a net negative in the time of the Great Depression. I'm calling... Oh. Miggy Bling said he's calling ice on me. So, good luck, world. Hoover's popularity Trump. This is my thing. I don't know if you guys saw this. This. So Denver, there's police raids going on. Denver ICE raids. Okay, I'm going off a tangent. I know, but there is ICE raids going on. They're knocking door to door on well-known crime spots. That's what they say. They're after this. I think Tres Aguas gang, and the hell out of here. Tren de Aragua gang in Denver. They have this subsection of Denver that many poor people live at, but they have taken over. That's the story. So ICE went over there, started knocking on doors, trying to find undocumented people. The thing is, though, that exactly. Thank you, Miggy Bling. If you knock on my door asking for me I'm on my property. I didn't commit a crime. There's no probable cause. I'm just fucking brown. You knock on my door and ask for an ID. I'm going John Brown. I'm going to start quoting John Brown on your ass. And for those who don't know John Brown, this is John Brown right here. This is my boy, John Brown. Let me show you. Let me show you. If you come at me and ask me to ID myself, I didn't commit a crime. I was just at my home. I think we should all agree to be John Brown.
I am here in the name of the great Redeemer, the King of Kings, the man of the Holy Trinity, and I hereby order you to get his holy name. Get, for he is on the side of justice.
God, I love John Brown. Fucking love John Brown. He was shooting pro-slavery bounty hunters. They were trying to get, slaves, and John Brown stood in front of this pro-slave militia and just had a fucking shootout. God, I love John Brown. So yeah, if you knock at my door and tell me I need to provide ID to prove I'm not Mexican, and I need to snitch on my neighbors, because in this article these ICE raids said you gotta snitch on your neighbors. Yeah, I'm going to start quoting John Brown. I don't think there's any country in this world that would allow or should allow this sort of like fascistic mindset that like I should be proving I'm American. You need to prove that I am not American. You need to prove that I've committed a crime. That's the foundation of our fucking country. I don't go to court and have to prove that I didn't do the crime. You need to have probable cause. You need to have a warrant. There's a right to seizure of property and forfeit seizure of my own property. You need to come with the warrant. The American government, the police, the militias that we have funded through our taxes need to abide by similar laws that we do, maybe even more. So, if you come knocking at my door without any probable cause, without any warrant, just based on the color of my skin, I think it's every single person's right to say every John Brown quote that they know and get, because that's what makes us American. The idea that you have to prove to be an American, just call it fucking Hitler 2.0. I'm not going to have a star on my chest to show that I am a person that needs to be warned and they got to throw me in a camp. That's when it's too late. Right now is where you stop it. You don't ever come to this is the beauty of America, is I think that you come Americans, they're the most selfish, stubborn people, but for good reason. Because if you come at our door and you start demanding us to prove that we're citizens, we've already lost what it means to be American. So if it's a pro abolitionist, or if it's someone defending ICE, I think defending Mexicans from ICE raids, I think those are one of the same. I think those are people who are patriots, more patriots than any piece of shit who signs off on these like gross mass deportation raids, because it's just morally stupid and economically stupid. So yeah, no, shoot me before I lose my right as an American to be stubborn, because that's what makes us great. That's what makes us a great country, is I can be stubborn. I can speak 12 different languages and never have to learn English and still be an American, because it's about what is here. Like the idea that we're abolishing the right to be, like the birthright. You are born here in America, you should be treated like an American. That's what being an American is. Just being born here is the sentiment that we should give a fuck about. So it's redonkulous. It's redonkulous that this is even occurring. ICE raids and fucking knocking on doors. For what? For Tren de Araguad, these fucking gang members who probably don't exist. They're probably like 3 dudes who have 1 gun. And now I have to give up my rights as an American because you can't fucking settle some crime shit that's going on. No, my rights don't go away because these guys you're trying to capture. Bullshit. So, yeah. Back to the teas. You know, I'll say tariffs. You know, I mean, we're all going to take a sip to that one. Okay, back to it. In the 60s, the U.S. European nations played an expensive game of chicken across the Atlantic Ocean. During World War II, 1939 to 45, red meat was rationed. The U.S. government began a campaign to encourage Americans to eat fish and poultry instead in the years that followed. I think most American meats now it's domestic. I think how much meat in U.S. is domestic. I don't think we're importing meat. Yeah, about 80-90%. I imagine during this time of World War II, there was, you know, it seems like they had to ration because they seem to be getting a lot of factory farming. So so that's when the U.S. ramped up factory farming for chicken, which lowered the price of poultry. See, I think there's a case where the teas could be good. In this case, U.S. was not farming on a domestic level, and seemed to be importing a lot of red meat or just meats in general. And I don't like that. I think if a war happens in Europe and our gas changes, you know, that's a little annoying. Like, we should have gas production here, which I think we already do. But that's this mindset, is like, we shouldn't be so reliant on other countries. Yes, we should reap the benefits. We should take the luxury of living in a world where, like, we don't have to worry about sending a pigeon across the Atlantic and hoping that it gets there. We could just email the president of China and say, how do you want to do this deal? You know what I mean? Like, obviously that doesn't happen, and it's not clear cut always that way, but we should take advantage of this new age world we live in, you know? So, already pimp LGTG. What's LGTG mean? I'm gonna look it up. LT, what is it? LGTG. Let's go to glory. Is that what you mean? Okay, I got you. All right, peace out. Love you, Miggy Bling. So yeah, ultimately, I think I love Twitch. I love, like, the streaming stuff. Because unless you're looking at the chat, I sound like a crazy person. Yeah. So ultimately, I think there is a case to be made that the teas are good, and there's an incentive to use them. Right? There's a win and where. I don't think Trump has the wherewithal to know when and where to use these, and I think ultimately he's probably making some good points that I wish I could agree with. That like we should have more of a domestic production of our goods and services, but I don't know. I think this is like an issue that spanned multiple decades after NATO, after NAFTA. The U.S. became really dependent on, like, you look at any sort of glass, any sort of plastic, it's all made in China. And I think we got comfy. And I don't like that. I think there's a good reason that we're bringing up the teas, because we shouldn't have this, like, dependency on these other countries that make 2 cents, and that's why they come. I think there's different economic and moral arguments. When you have a country like Mexico who we're paying them 2 cents to make our stuff, and then we reap the benefits of having a cheaper product, and they have cheap labor. It doesn't seem like it's incentivizing for people to, like, why would I stay there? Like when I talk to, people in these different countries, like a Dominican Republic, they make like, $1. And it's like, well, no shit, they're going to come to the US, because it's like, where else would you have this sort of benefit of like making good money and reaping, cheap goods? Obviously, America makes, I think most of the median household is like super huge compared to like a Papua New Guinea or Jamaica. Like, these countries aren't making buku money. And we have so much. We have not only Hollywood, we have military, and we have just overall like tech. And we're a rich country for a crazy amount of good reasons. We're not just the superest luckiest country, but we've invested very smartly, I think, as a country. And maybe we did get lucky. I think there's a lot of like, would Hollywood exist in Canada? I don't know. And partly it kind of does when you look at Vancouver with their tax incentives. So I don't think there's a clean cut, we're doing the best because we're the best capitalism. I think there's a lot that took place in the prior decades that made us a great country. Obviously, we are unmatched militarily, but when you look at the country as a whole, I think as our best times, economically speaking, was, post Kennedy or around the Kennedy era. And it's because we had high taxes against the rich. We have a lot of rich people here. And you can argue maybe it's because we have really good incentives for them to be here. But I think we have a lot of rich people here because there's a lot of resources and a lot of things to work for here. Other countries can rival us. You look at China, you look at Saudi Arabia. They are having their sort of industrial revolution now. Obviously not right now. Right now they're probably post-industrial revolution. But they're getting to a point where they are also on the grand stage of countries. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't invest in ours. Like, I think we shouldn't compete with them as much as I don't think we belong in Niger. I think the thought that we're having a shadow war with China and Niger is stupid. How much of that is us really not investing in ourselves and us wanting to really, keep hold of the American empire? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I really wish we could invest in our own people. I really wish we could have a single payer healthcare system. I really wish that we can invest more in the education field. When you look at places like Denmark or Sweden, they are investing in their people. And you see like a higher education per capita, higher access to education, higher access to healthcare. That's why they usually, the Scandinavian countries, rank pretty high. Now, granted, there's a lot of, good stuff that's happened there for them, like the oil stuff, and like they're not at war. And America has this sort of duty now that we have the 50 bases around the world. You can't just cut ties tomorrow. There'd be a disaster, right? Like, we had a base in South Korea. I didn't like that we were in South Korea, but now that we do, and we've been there for so long, how do we get out? And we've been slowly pulling out, and it's been causing tensions, and keeping them there causes tensions. There's no right answer. There's no perfect answer in any of this stuff. Oh yeah, let's get it. Shots. In the chats, everybody grab your drink. This is my Dirty Shirley with vodka. Oh God. And then we're gonna do a vodka. There's already vodka. There's already vodka in the Dirty Shirley. Oh my God, that's awful. I don't know how people get through that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah. I'm gonna drink another Dirty Shirley because you're beautiful. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, we're going through the history of the teas. So there was a net positive for the teas done by Lyndon B. Johnson. Is that something that Trump is trying to replicate? I don't know. yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at this and I think like I think right now after for those who just joined, when we looked at the net negative of what the T's are going to occur with. Oh, thank you, Mr. Spartan Jay-Z. I do have my water bottle right here, so I'm balancing some of it out, but I want to get plastered. I want to entertain. I'm here to entertain first and then give the news second. So that's what we're doing. You know what? While we got some people in here, let's just let me just show you. Let me just show you guys something classic. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you guys don't know what it's like. Or sorry, Barney. Let's take a quick detour. You know what I mean?
All right, we got Chuck, we got Barney.
So good.
Barney's about to meet his maker.
So
Die,
good.
you commie fucker!
Don't kill my daddy!
God, so classic. So classic. Okay, back to the serious stuff. Okay, guys. So right now, what we've kind of surmised is that the T's that are occurring within this country currently against Mexico, Canada, and China, and now potentially the EU, we're going to. I think we're going to see a net negative. I think we're going to see nothing but a net negative, and I think the end goal here just doesn't make sense. Also, that is a classic video. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Drinking's fun, guys. Why don't we all just drink more? Let's all just drink. I think that would solve the geopolitical tension that we have. If we just got in a room with Xi Jinping and Putin, and we just had a few beers, what's gonna happen? Probably a good time, you know? Ah, good days, good days. Okay, so there was a lumber war. There was a tea war on automobiles with Jap. So it's like we're not new to the world of taxes on these imports, but it seems like a lot of these have occurred because of some reason, and most of them have seemed to be a net negative. If we looked at the first tax, the T word, it was during wartime, and we felt like we had to do it, and it caused nothing but issues. There was the second one that occurred, or the first one, the Smoot-Hawley T's that occurred, and it was in a way to save us from the Great Depression, but it seemed like to be more of a net negative. It seemed like it put us deeper into this hole. So when we see all of this stuff, I don't look at this. I don't know who told Trump that the taxes on these imports are going to be beneficial. I'm legitimately like lost on like who's feeding him this, because there's rumors that in the case of many of these high investor donors, this people who run the super PACs for the Republican Party, were like, he's not really going to do it, right? Because they know that like if these T's would hit, you would see the middle class, medium household income family have to eat the cost, and they're not going to vote for the Republican Party if they have to pay for something more expensive. We saw that in the 2024 election. People's number one, they did exit polls, and people's number one point of why they voted for Trump was, oh, he's going to lower gas prices, he's going to lower grocery prices. So I don't see a world where the Republican Party can coast on an economy where the median household has to pay more. So I don't even think this is a good idea, and I really don't know who's in his ear about the whole, import taxes and the whole tariffs. And then again, I'm regurgitating, but we've already saw this with Trump's first T war. He put us in a net negative going against China and the steel and aluminum. But was it as disastrous as possible? No, I think it was very minimal, and if anyone suffered, it was the people who we had to subsidize because they didn't have the steel and aluminum. But on the scale that he wants to go to, the 25% to Mexico, the 10% to China, and these large numbers, I mean, they're not the biggest number in the world, but on multiple different countries who are also going to retaliatory tee us back, it just doesn't make sense. It's going to be a net negative. So far from what I'm reading, and so far from what I've known, it's not a good idea. So I don't know, man. I see a world where like we're really gonna be suffering. We're really gonna be struggling, and I don't know. I don't see the upside of any of these sort of import taxes. I think he's gonna keep holding them off. I think he's going to kick the can down the road when the 30 days are up between Mexico and Canada. I think he's going to continue with China. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. I think it was 25-10, so he's already sort of kind of backpedaling on it. But I think with Canada and Mexico, he's going to have this sort of referendum where or this hold off. We're not going to import, or we're not going to enact the T. And then we're going to get closer and closer to it, and he's going to push it back because he said, oh, they conceded to my X, Y, and Z demand. That's what I'm already seeing with him, and I've seen it with other topics. The man doesn't want to pull the trigger on a lot of this stuff. I mean, he kicked the can down the road when it came to Afghanistan. The Abraham Accords was under him. They talked about the Afghanistan leave, and he didn't do it until pushing it to Biden, who he gave him a timeline. He said, okay, we're going to do May. And Biden went through with it, and he was like, look how dumb you guys are doing. Like, this man doesn't have a backbone when it comes to enacting a lot of these policies. So I don't know. Like, I don't see this as I'm hoping that we don't have to get to this point where we do see these go live. I'm kind of hoping he just kind of forgets about it. Like, he's going to say he had this accomplishment, because if we look at what the demands for Mexico, I think they were already doing half of what he said. When they paused on Canada and Mexico, the pauses provide a cool down period. I'm very pleased to initiate initial outcome tariff. I said tariffs. God damn it. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll drink to that one. Oh, my God. I just fucking love you guys. Let's just talk about love. When we see that okay, so yeah, in the case of Canada, with the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau saying like, oh, we're gonna work together, Trump and him had a talk. The talk was we need a fentanyl czar. That was already in place in December. I love you. I'm down. I don't know how to do this stuff though. I don't know how to do any of the Twitch stuff. Like I wanna like have people call in via Discord, but I'm like, I don't know if that would show up. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want to test it first before doing it, but I do love that idea because I've been kind of pitching that in my mind. I'm sure there's probably a better service, but the first thing that always comes to mind is Discord. So I would love to have people call in. But then again, I'm terrified because when I make political videos, I post them to my Instagram or YouTube. I'll usually get like a comment saying like, you're gay, go burn in hell, you beaner. So I'm a little scared I'm going to get someone calling in and they're just going to like call me fat. And I, you know, like I'm all for the content, but I got feelings, you know. I don't want people to call me no beaners. But great idea. Love it though. Don't be a cowdy custard. What does that mean? God damn. Okay. You made me do this. This is a cowdy custard? The hell is this? What the hell is a cowdy custard? It's a musical. What the fuck? Don't you ever call me a cowdy custard on my live, you sicko. So yeah, Trump wanted I don't know what that was. You said cowdy custard. Per life indifferent this. You said cowdy. I didn't say cowdy custard. I looked up those words you said. Okay, so yeah, ultimately the Trump plan has been, I'm gonna do the tariff. God damn it, I said tariff. I'm gonna do the T. I talked to Canada. He said he agreed to all my stuff, so we're not doing the T. But when we look at the stuff that he said, while we work together, the government would name a fentanyl czar. That was already in place. The fentanyl czar that Trump was demanding that Canada to have, that was already in place during the Canadian-U.S. deal that Biden proposed and agreed with in December 14th. Like, it killed me. So, we can keep reading this. The government would enact a czar, the Mexican cartels, terrorist groups. They already did that. The pause followed similar moves to Mexico. Negotiations over drug smuggling. The 10% T that Trump ordered and China is still set to go effect on Tuesday. I don't know if we've seen any effects of that yet. So, Okay, I gotta read this out loud. Oh no, mama. He doesn't know what a county custard is. He better watch his cholestize? I'm gonna get banned. What is this word? Cholestize. Was it cholestize? The fuck does that mean? What the fuck is it called? What does that mean? I thought it said clitoris at first. Colitis? What the fuck does that mean? God damn it, y'all pissed me off. That's it. Family Guy. Skateboard.
All right, Tom, if you want to be young these days, you got to do a wicked awesome GoPro skate video.
Am I gonna get copyrighted? Shit. I'll do the music. Yeah, what you get? What is it, Sabbath? Is it Sabbath? Oh, wait. Okay. Back to the news. So yeah, so I think with Trump is proposing, any of these sort of like negotiations that they're having seems to be already in effect. I'm kind of babbling here, but like let's go by it one by one. We need a fentanyl czar from Canada, or we do the teas. They already had that. We need to have drug smuggling lessen and illegal immigration. Mexico send troops. They did that. I look at this and I'm trying to see like, okay, so they look at it as like a necessary tool to stop the fentanyl smuggling from both borders. Claudia Sheinbaum announced that the month-long pause in the increased tariffs, very friendly conversation. Okay, so Trump said that the talks would be headed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, a high-level representative of Mexico. Sheinbaum said she was reinforcing the border with 10,000 members of the country's National Guard, and the U.S. government would commit to work stop trafficking. Okay. In 2019, Mexico government also avoided the teas from Trump, and they would send 50. We've done this before. Like, we sent all these troops, whereas Biden had this border agreement. What did Mexico give? A bit of theater, says former ambassador. Trump claimed the Trump claims don't amount to much, but Mexico is not out of the woods yet. Mexican ambassador in the United States from 2007 to 2013, Arturo Saracán, has a lot of experience managing demands from Washington. Yada yada yada. Since 2019, Trump first started Mexico with punitive teas to link to migration. When Trump bragged that he had never seen anyone fold as quick, the Mexican government did back then. The Mexican government has deployed National Guards. They were already doing that. They have already been involved with the cartel. Do you think Mexico loves the fact that they're known for cartels and drugs? No. They're trying to combat it. They usually fail. When you had AMLO, the current president, when he was trying to combat these tariffs... Ah, son of a bitch. He sent troops. And Claudia Sheinbaum did the same thing. She sent troops. So in 2019, they agreed to deployment of 10,000 National Guards. And in 2021, Biden struck a deal to extend that deployment. So where the fuck did at any point you have tariffs needed in this conversation, right? Maybe Trump felt that he doesn't have that much respect when Biden does a deal with Sheinbaum or AMLO. It just gets done. So the tariffs are his way to negotiate. But that is a weak leader in my mind. Or it's theater. Trump has always done this. When Trump talked about his wealth, he greatly exaggerated it. When he talked about what the deal that he got with Claudia Sheinbaum, it was a deal that already existed, because that's what he does. He's an exaggeratory man. He loves to talk about his wealth. There's a famous clip of Trump pretending to be his lawyer. I can't spell. Trump pretended to be his own lawyer because he wanted to pretended. I think it was Vanity Fair, but he wanted to like say he's super rich, so he called. I want to say Vanity Fair. Trump calls magazine pretends to be lawyer, I guess. I forgot what exactly. As a publicist. Donald Trump masqueraded as a publicist to brag about himself. The voice is instantly familiar, the tone, the confident, even cocky. Donald Trump says he's a media spokesperson named John Miller. I'm sort of new here. I'm somebody, da-da-da. He basically was being called by People magazine, where he was asked, hey, how much does Trump make? Oh, he's so rich. And he's playing this character, this John Miller guy. Trump, John Miller call. I want you guys to hear the voice. And this is who he is. He was like 40 at the time.
Old spokesman as the Washington that
What's your name again? John Miller. And you work with government? Yes, that's correct.
it was back in the 1980s, and when the flashy New York real estate
That's some loser shit. That's a loser. I don't have a publicist, so I'm gonna pretend to be. You have the most recognizable voice ever. Just to like make himself like sound better. Just Trump is his cock is so huge, his ass so nice. That's it. I would never do that to myself. And this guy has no dignity.
Comment is coming from either your agency or from Donald's side. Well, it's just that he really decided that he wasn't, he didn't want to make the commitment. He didn't want to make a commitment. He really thought it was too soon. He's coming out
Too soon.
of a marriage that, and he's starting to do tremendously well financially.
Tremendously well financially. The man is a perpetual liar. He's always going to make himself inflate himself and his ego. So when he says he has a deal with Sheinbaum, when he has a deal with Trudeau, they're very much just being complicit in his behavior. They're just going to say, yeah, whatever you want. And then you're going to see that the current deal that we have with the troops is something that was already existing before him. And Biden didn't need tariffs. When he spoke with AMLO, the president of Mexico, when he spoke to Claudia Sheinbaum, when he talked to Trudeau, he made an impression that he was this big businessman, but they were just giving a toddler his yeses and his toy. Yeah, we'll get you what you want. Yeah, here's your toy. And it made him happy. Will these tariffs go in effect? I don't know. I don't even think he knows. I don't think he's sitting there thinking about is Canada really sending these fentanyl czars to help with is Mexico sending these troops? I don't know. I think those are easier to avoid because those tariffs God damn it. I think those T's could easily be kicked down the road because you don't want to see prices go up that bad. If we have the T's against China, maybe the EU, those are easier to kind of mask and we're not that dependent. But to do that to our neighbors who we're so dependent on, again, I agree with Trump on the matter that we shouldn't be so dependent. We should have more domestic production. But this is the mindset of like they're just going to burn it down and just hope for the next guy to fix it. Like that's what it seems like to be post Obama's recession economy. He brought us out of the recession. We had a pretty prosperous economy. 2016, completely under what Obama brought us out of, with high job growth, and even though we still had stagnant wages, they were still better than and on a higher trajectory than they were during the recession and obviously the housing mortgage, right? So when Trump took over, he was spending in budget deficit. But why? We didn't have to subsidize all these things. We didn't have to do all this money printing, but we did. Why? Under Trump. And then when COVID came, obviously the world stopped. We were forced in a place where we had to print money because if you had these stimmies, if you had these PPP loans, they had to come out of somewhere, and it's us printing money and giving it to the American people. And I think that actually worked. I think that showed that, like in the case of the mortgage crisis, we gave money to Wall Street. We saved a lot of people, I'm sure, through those. But I think that same effect of throwing money at the American people works great. We didn't have to go into a recession. When Biden stepped in, we avoided the recession, even though we had high inflation. High inflation came from, well, we don't want to go into a recession. There's not like a magical let's lower the recession button. So I look at this like this seems to be a very Trump move. We're going to enact these tariffs on stuff that isn't really occurring. We're going to say we enacted it. We're going to walk away and say we had a great deal. And we're just going to exist on the backs of other policies that have already been done. When he sent troops to the border, I was a little bit worried because he has this talk of going to war with Mexico. But will we go to Mexico? That's the Trump presidency. I'm fearful. I would never give this guy the keys to my own car. But will I say 100% guarantee he's going to crash it? No, I just have that feeling that using his rhetoric, his cognitive decline, and what his desire is, I think he is going to crash the car. So when I see him taking troops to Mexico or to the Mexican border, I just see nothing but this guy trying to set up a failure. The fentanyl crisis that we are dealing with mainly comes from domestic issues that we have here. The drug war that we've had here is not because just Mexico, it's because of our failed policies. Yet it's so easy just to blame Mexico and say they're the enemy and everyone agrees to it. And then we can just send troops to that. Here you would have to have a mental health access increased. You would have to have hospital and access to cheaper prices for poor and impoverished communities. If you really want to tackle the fentanyl crisis, if you really want to tackle the drug war, you start with legalization or decriminalization of these drugs, and then enacting and investing into these poor impoverished communities, either through stimulus, even through these sort of like UBIs, or through universal health care and mental health care. But that's something that they would never do. So it's easy just to place it on the Mexican cartels. That's a villain. You can throw your military. You can't throw your military at the universal mental health crisis we have here. The lack of access, the stagnant wages. You can't just throw the military at that. You have to do policy that incentivizes an increase in wages. Usually one policy doesn't fit all, but you do like an increase of the federal minimum wage. You incentivize wages to increase while trying to match and tie it to prices. Again, it's not a great fix. It's not even a fix at all, in my opinion, but it's something, and it's in a step that incentivizes the median household. The lower income to median household will have a way to get out of these slumps, and to do that, you have to invest in your neighborhood, your society, your city, and that's boring. Republicans just want to cut taxes and get golf courses. Trump just wants to do an estate tax part 2. So the estate tax part 2 cut. You're never going to get these guys to agree on any of these sort of policies that are substantial. And why countries like the Scandinavian countries exceed in their mental health is because they invest in their mental health. There's countries like Denmark that have a 0% dog stray community. You know how they did it? It wasn't through they deported all the immigrants. They invested into their version. If you're from Arizona, Pima Animal Care facility, they invested in that. They threw a lot of money at that dog catcher facility, and they caught a bunch of dogs. They made their population 0 through the efforts of investing in their society. You say that here. Imagine a 0% 0% stray dog population. People would be like, that's impossible. And it seems like that when you don't have the incentive. I don't think Biden or Kamala was this like magical fix, but I see a world where they would have had a net positive. You invested, just like he did with the Infrastructure Act, with the CHIPS deal, into the community, and you see them pay in dividends later. They will come as an investment. They are an investment into the people. If you cut education today, you probably won't see the effects right away, but in 18 years, when those kids are going to college, or if they even care to go to college, that's where you see the effects of cutting education. It takes time. It's an investment. It's a seed you grow. God damn it. Now I got to drink because I just feel like it. So yeah, that's where we stand. Canada said they're not confident that they could avoid the looming tariffs. It's gonna be a long night. Oh. I don't know if the teas are coming. I don't know if I just can't see a world where he does. If he pulls the trigger on the teas, prices are going to increase. It's undoubtedly going to be the question. Will they last forever? Will the teas eventually give us cheaper prices through negotiation? Maybe. That's always a factor. I will give Trump his flowers if he were to do that. But there's going to be a period of increased prices. That's just a given. We saw it too when we looked at the Trump tax plan through the nonpartisan breakdown by this tax foundation group. So yeah, I think there's a world where we really fail as a country. We're going to be hurting, and then he's just probably going to pull back from it, revoke any sort of teas, or keep it and just let the country burn. But there's no world where this man is successful. He's either going to be stagnant in his policies, because that's what's going to be beneficial. If he just does nothing, the economy will be okay. America is pretty strong as a foundation to just kind of ride. We saw it in 2016 and 2019. He had a pretty decent economy by doing nothing, even spending in deficit. He spent in deficit, greater in deficit, and then said people who spend in deficit are stupid. Crazy, right? So can he coast off of the Biden pulling out of this potential recession. He might. If he does stuff like this, though, it could be detrimental. But he's also like a diaper baby old man. He's like almost 80, and he's talking about you need to get an ID to buy bread. This man isn't thinking straight. His administration is trying to keep him from going too crazy, and I think they're trying to put him into check, just like we saw with John Bolton or I want to say, God, what's his name? John Bolton. Mueller. You saw with Mueller, saw with John Bolton. These guys were sycophants, warmongers, but they were really even like, Trump, this is too far. Usually had some people stopping him in his track. I can see his administration trying to stop the tariffs, or at the very least kicking the can down the line. I know, I said the T word. Oh my God, I'm a Cowdy custard. But again, with the armed forces being there already, with Canada saying they're going to have the czar, they're giving in to his demands by not really giving in, and that's an easy game to play. But how long can you play this? I don't know. It's terrifying. Scheinbaum was cagey about where the additional National Guards would come from. See, even then, I'm like, does she even have to specify? There was a spy plane caused an uproar in Mexico after it followed a flight path to C. Cortez between Baja California and the peninsula and the coast of Sonora, Sinaloa. Mexico Defense Ministry announced that the aircraft never entered Mexican airspace. There's just unnecessary tension between these two countries that we have no war with. We're not at war with Mexico. They're not any sort of like adding to the terrorists or to the cartels. I think it's not going to look good no matter what. Canada's push. Scheinbaum said the U.S. agreed to work to stop the flow of guns coming to Mexico, which Trump doesn't mention in his social media post. Conversely, Trump says that Mexican Army or the National Guard will actually detain Mexican and third country national immigrants outside of Mexico. None of this seems to be a case of we are coming out of this as winners. I think they're going to try to appease him. Yeah, I can't see a world where the T's are not going to be impactful to us in a net negative. Again, as I keep referencing, but like, let's pull up the Tax Foundation study that was done. It seems to be a net negative, and it seems like it's going to be costing us the most. If we see here, it looks like imports subject to the 301 T's are pretty huge. That's a big chunk. Of the American consumers, buy. I remember seeing the, what's potentially going to be hitting. I think it was like avocados, bread, and all these things that we would be suffering from if the T's were to go through. And I look at that and go like, this, like, who's winning from this? Like, yeah, maybe those rich guys like Trump can buy bread because they don't really care about this stuff. But the average, median household is going to suffer. So like, do they even give a shit? Are people even going to blame them? Or I don't know. Like, I don't know how much of this people really are caring about until we actually see it, right? Like, I don't think people are researching and looking up the effects of these T's. And that's why I wanted to do this whole stream, is to look up. But I don't know. I don't see a world where, I guess for one, that he gets it done, or if he has the goal to do it, because I think he knows how much is going to be troublesome. But I don't know. I mean, the EU T's are coming in soon. I don't know. It's too hard to pin. It's not going to be clear and cut. I don't know. I think I've exhausted the conversation enough. We went through the economic ramifications of the T's. We went through the potential future of the T's, the EU to China to what Canada, Mexico maybe. I think I've kind of exhausted the topic. I think I'm okay with saying like, let's do a quitsies here. Yeah, I think it's okay to hear. You know what we'll do? Just to celebrate, I still got some of my Dirty Shirley, just to show you guys I ain't no punk, and I'm here to entertain. We're all gonna take a big sip of the vodka. And we're just gonna end it here with this stream. We're gonna end it while we do one last thing. One last thing. We're gonna look up Kermit the Frog falling. And we're gonna take a big sippy. Shouts to Spartan Jay-Z, big sippy. Classic. All right, guys. I think it's okay to end it here. Thank you so much. Every Friday we're gonna do a stream, and you know, let's just party one more time. Oh my God, vodka's awful. We're gonna click on this link that was put in the chat. Let's see what this is.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control
Let's
yourself
fucking
any
go!
longer.
I feel like that Russian guy. I'm gonna finish the stream.
Come on, shake.
I'm gonna finish the stream on that note. I'm gonna come back to that, but I feel like that Russian guy who was at the club and they're telling him that like Osama's dead. Russian club, Osama. You know what I mean? There's this kid. Yeah, they tell him that like, hey, we live in constant fear of the Osama bin Laden attacks and and then they tell him that the U.S. troops killed him, so he starts celebrating. This is fake. He doesn't really say that in this interview, but that's what I'm feeling right now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm seeing right now. So we're gonna click on this one more time. We're gonna celebrate in this dark time.
George.
Oh, we're not gonna do Seinfeld clips. In this dark time of U.S. imperialism, we always have this to keep us going.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer.
Vodka's awful. Fuck. Oh my God.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Feel the rhythm of the music getting stronger. Don't you fight it till you try to do that conga beat.
All right, thank you guys so much. Thank you. God bless America.